Baseball is a sport obsessed with records. The longest home run, the fastest pitch, the most strikeouts. And yet, some numbers don't just stand out. They stand alone. Records so insane, so statistically outrageous, that they've gone untouched for decades. Not because players aren't great, but because the game itself has changed. Pitchers don't throw 300 innings anymore. Hitters don't swing at 3,000 pitches a season. Base stealers don't terrorize the diamond like they used to. These aren't just baseball records. These are time capsules, locked in the past. So today, on Pitch Perfect, we break down 5 baseball records that will never be broken. Strap in, because we're going back through baseball history to relive feats of strength, skill, and pure, raw insanity. At number 5, we have Rickey Henderson's unbreakable stolen base legacy. Rickey Henderson wasn't just fast, he was lightning in cleats. The man didn't run. He launched off first base like a rocket, with perfect timing, razor-sharp instincts, and a fearlessness that sent chills down pitchers' spines. Over his 25-year career, Rickey stole an astronomical 1,406 bases. To put that in perspective, that's more than 400 steals ahead of second-place Lou Brock. And in today's game, even 50 stolen bases in a season is rare. In fact, no one currently playing has even half his total. What made Henderson's record so untouchable wasn't just the total, it was the way he stole. He had a sixth sense for pitchers' moves. He studied their every twitch, and once he read their rhythm, he was gone. His explosion off the bag was unmatched, and his ability to read the moment was borderline supernatural. And Rickey didn't just steal when it was safe. He stole in high-pressure moments. Game on the line? Rickey's running. Full count? Rickey's off. His confidence bordered on arrogance, but he could back it up every time. In the 1982 season alone, Henderson swiped 130 bases. That's a number that feels like a typo today. The modern MLB leader in steals barely touches 40-50 in a full season. Why the decline? It's a different era now. Analytics have shifted the game away from stolen bases. Teams rely more on power and OBP than risking an out on the base paths. And pitchers are faster to the plate. Catchers have rocket arms, and every base-stealing attempt is tracked and predicted. But it wasn't just speed. Rickey was durable. He played over 3,000 games. He led the league in steals 12 times, stole 70-plus bases in 7 seasons, and combined that speed with a power-hitting leadoff style we rarely see today. He hit 297 home runs, too. A leadoff hitter with power and speed? That's unheard of. Even more impressive, he scored 2,295 runs, another MLB record. Because every time he stole a base, he was one step closer to crossing home plate. And he did that more than anyone. Want to break his record? A modern player would need to average 70 steals per season for 20 years straight. And no one has done that since Rickey. Base stealing used to be a weapon. Rickey made it a spectacle. He didn't just steal, he owned the base paths. The swagger, the finger wag, the declaration, "I am the greatest of all time." That wasn't a boast, that was truth. Rickey Henderson wasn't just fast. He was a baseball phenomenon. And his record? As safe as Fort Knox. Coming in at number 4. Cal Ripken Jr.'s Ironman streak that defied human limits. There are Ironmen in every sport, but in baseball, no one defines durability quite like Cal Ripken Jr. Between 1982 and 1998, Ripken played in 2,632 straight games for the Baltimore Orioles. That's 16 years without missing a single game. Through illness, injury, slumps, and even labor disputes, Ripken showed up, suited up, and took the field. Think about your own life. When's the last time you went 16 years without taking a sick day, without skipping a shift, without hitting a wall and saying, "I need a break." Now imagine doing that while playing one of the most grueling schedules in professional sports, 162 games a year. And it wasn't like Ripken was coasting through these games. He was a workhorse, playing shortstop, one of the most physically demanding positions on the field for the vast majority of that streak. Diving for ground balls, making throws across the diamond, taking hits at the plate, enduring doubleheaders, travel, fatigue, yet he showed up every single day. Ripken wasn't just present, he was excellent. He won 2 MVP awards, made 19 All-Star appearances, and redefined the shortstop position with power and poise. He hit over 3,000 hits in his career and launched 431 home runs, all while carrying the weight of his own streak. The pressure to play every day wasn't just physical, it was mental warfare. There were days Ripken was sore, sick, even exhausted. But the moment the gates opened at Camden Yards, he was there. And that consistency became his legend. September 6, 1995. The day Ripken passed Lou Gehrig's legendary mark of 2,130 games. The game stopped, the fans stood, the players applauded. And Ripken, always humble, took a lap around the field. Not as a superstar, but as baseball's iron soul. In today's era of load management, analytics, and rest days, this record is unthinkable. Players take days off to prevent injury, protect longevity, and optimize performance. The game isn't worse. It's just different, smarter, more cautious. But it means Ripken's mark is now sealed in stone. What makes the streak even more mythical is what it represented: reliability. Teammates knew he'd be there. Fans knew he'd be in the lineup. Coaches didn't have to second guess. It was rare, it was beautiful, and it's now extinct. No one is playing 2,600 games straight ever again, not in this generation, not in the next. Ripken's streak is more than unbreakable. It's heroic. At number 3, it's Nolan Ryan's mind-blowing 5,714 strikeouts, the king of Ks. Let's talk dominance. Pure, unfiltered, untouchable pitching dominance. Nolan Ryan wasn't just a great pitcher. He was a force of nature, a one-man wrecking crew with a fastball that could singe eyebrows and a work ethic that outlasted generations. Over a staggering 27 seasons, Nolan Ryan struck out a record 5,714 batters, nearly 1,000 more than the second-place pitcher, Randy Johnson. Just let that sink in. That's not just dominance, that's statistical absurdity. To understand why this record will never be broken, let's start with how pitching has evolved. Today, the best pitchers in the league might start 32 to 34 games per year. They rarely go more than 6 or 7 innings. Relief pitchers handle the rest. Bullpens are deeper, more specialized. And thanks to analytics, managers are quick to pull starters to preserve their arms. Now rewind to Nolan Ryan's era. Pitchers were workhorses. Complete games weren't rare, they were expected. Ryan alone had 222 complete games. He routinely threw 130-plus pitches a night. His arm was basically a biomechanical miracle. If you gave most modern pitchers his workload, their arms would fall off. But it wasn't just volume. Ryan was a strikeout machine. His fastball was clocked at 100.9 miles per hour. In the 1970s, before modern radar guns. Some believe it would register even higher today. Add in a vicious curveball and legendary intimidation, and hitters were lucky to even foul him off. Even modern-day strikeout kings like Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, and Garrett Cole, they're all light years behind. Cole has averaged 250 strikeouts per season in his peak. If he stayed healthy and pitched 20 more years at that rate, he'd still fall short. And Ryan's strikeout total becomes even more impressive when you realize he didn't rely on finesse. He wasn't painting corners. He was blowing people away. He also led the league in strikeouts 11 times. He had 6 300-plus strikeout seasons. And remember, this was an era without pitch limits or pitch counts. It was just grit, guts, and gas. Now, with the way teams protect pitchers' arms, manage innings, and spread out workloads, no one will ever have the opportunity to accumulate this many strikeouts again. Even if someone had the talent, they'd never get the volume. Nolan Ryan's record is the baseball equivalent of climbing Everest, blindfolded, barefoot, in winter. It's not just unbreakable, it's practically mythical.
Number 2 on our list.
Cy Young's seemingly eternal record of 511 wins. Let's break down what might be the most absurd number in all of baseball. 511 career wins. Cy Young isn't just a name on a pitching award. He's the measuring stick by which longevity and success are judged. From 1890 to 1911, the man started 815 games. He finished 749 of them. That's not a typo. The guy was practically a one-man rotation. Let's put it in perspective. In today's MLB, a pitcher who wins 20 games in a single season is celebrated. Win 20 games for 25 straight seasons, and you're still 11 wins short of Cy Young. It's not just about how good Cy Young was. It's about how the game functioned in that era. Pitchers were expected to pitch every few days. Bullpens didn't exist the way they do now. There were no closers, no middle relief specialists. If you started the game, you were expected to finish it. In 1901, Cy Young pitched 371 innings in one season. Compare that to a modern ace like Jacob deGrom or Shohei Ohtani, who might throw 150 to 180 innings if they're healthy. The workload is literally not comparable. And Cy Young didn't just pitch a lot. He won. He led the league in wins 5 times, had 5 30-win seasons, and from 1892 to 1895, he won at least 35 games every single year. Here's the clincher. The second-place pitcher on the all-time wins list is Walter Johnson, with 417. That's nearly 100 wins fewer. And even Johnson's record is untouched in the modern game. In the last 50 years, no pitcher has even crossed 350 wins. Not Roger Clemens, not Greg Maddux, not Tom Glavine. The best of the best have topped out around 300, 330. Even if a modern pitcher started 35 games a year and won 25 of them, which is practically impossible today, it would take over 20 seasons to reach 500 wins. That's not just unlikely, that's biologically improbable. Add in how injury-prone pitchers are now, how strict teams are with pitch counts, and how rare it is for anyone to even reach 15 wins in a season, and you see why Cy Young's number isn't just safe, it's untouchable. 511 career wins is the baseball version of a unicorn. You can dream about it, but you'll never see it again.
And finally, at number 1, the holy grail of hitting streaks, Joe DiMaggio's 56-game masterpiece. In the summer of 1941, the world was on edge. The United States was inching closer to war. But in baseball, something beautiful was happening, something timeless. Joe DiMaggio, the Yankee Clipper, was stringing together hits in a way no one had ever done before or since. For 56 consecutive games, he recorded at least one hit. A single, a double, a bloop, a bomb. Didn't matter how, but every day, DiMaggio delivered. Let's get into the math. The odds of any hitter getting at least one hit in a game are about 30%. Now stretch that across 56 straight games, against different pitchers, in different parks, with different umpires, in heat, rain, and wind. The probability is so low it's almost incalculable. But Joe wasn't just any hitter. He was one of the most mechanically sound players of all time. His swing was poetry, compact, efficient, timed like a metronome. Every pitcher knew the streak was on the line. He was getting every team's best, but DiMaggio never buckled. He went 1 for 4, 2 for 3, 3 for 5. Some games he needed a hit in his final at-bat, and he got it. Fans were obsessed. Newspapers ran daily streak updates. Entire cities tuned in on radio just to hear Joe's first at-bat. He became the calm in the center of the storm, a symbol of excellence in uncertain times. And then, just like that, the streak ended. But what did DiMaggio do next? He started another hitting streak. 16 games. That's 72 out of 73 games with a hit.
That's not just good, that's alien. No one's sense has gotten close. Pete Rose hit 44 games in 1978, that's still 12 games short. Jimmy Rollins reached 38, that's a full 18 games behind. Most streaks today die at 25. The modern game makes it nearly impossible. Pitchers throw harder than ever. Defensive shifts steal hits. Bullpens bring fresh arms every inning. And social media amplifies every failure. DiMaggio didn't have swing analyzers or iPads in the dugout. He had feel, instinct, precision. That 56-game streak is more than just a number. It's a cultural milestone. A time when baseball felt mythic, when one man stood up to history and wrote his name in permanent ink. Joe DiMaggio's streak wasn't just baseball at its finest, it was America at its most hopeful. And it will never happen again.
From Rickey Henderson's lightning on the base paths to Cal Ripken's legendary grind day after day to pitchers and hitters who redefined the limits of human performance. These records are more than numbers. They're monuments to what greatness looks like when nothing gets in the way. And as the game evolves with data, rest days, analytics, and shorter careers, these milestones become more mythical, more magical, and more untouchable. So next time you watch a game and see a player rack up a few steals, or a pitcher put up double-digit strikeouts, or a hitter stay hot for a few weeks, just remember, the ghosts of baseball's past still tower over the field. Thanks for watching Pitch Perfect, where legends never fade, and baseball always tells a better story. If you loved this dive into the unbreakable, the unbeatable, and the unbelievable, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dive baseball stories, and drop a comment below with which record shocked you the most. Or better yet, tell us which one you think could actually be broken one day. Until next time, stay clutch, stay curious, and keep the game perfect.